Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher, one more time. Here we go. On the last video, I had you texture all the head with a wood burner, and this is how it should look like. Okay, so that you can see it. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it on the last video, and I also had somebody who took out a little too much material, and I use an item sometime. It's called quick wood, and here we go. And this is really great stuff, and if you ever need to put wood back in, this would mimic exactly what you have here as far as the look, color of the wood and everything else. I just put some more in this area here. I just took out a little bit more than I should on the underneath side here, so I filled this in. Now, I was trying to tell the gentleman who had taken too much wood out, when you go back in here to try to wood burn this, it actually melts it, and it will flake off if you don't watch out. So what I'm going to show you, not on this video right now, but on the next one, how we take care of this. And the other thing I wanted to explain to him, I use, these are a carbon silicate, it's a stone, I call it. And I'm going to use the corners of it like a barrel to texture through here, and not a diamond and not a ruby or anything else like that. I'm going to be texturing this inside here, but I'm also going to feather the edges here with a burning pen, and I'll show you how we finalize that. But you don't want to go too much in with burning on top of this. So it's good to stone it. And if you are going to burn it, you got to really lower the temperature of your burner and be careful not to really press hard to go in. You're just trying to texture the surface very lightly. So that's something I'm going to try to show you once we get going here. But for this video, I'm going to concentrate on how we address the mantle here, and we'll put feathers and everything else. So bear with me. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to come in like we had these, what I call feathers, and they would go like this. Here's, if you had a row or something like that we had in here, just to demonstrate, these are exploded views. I put like a C, what I call a C, and then I go with a bigger one coming back and a bigger one coming back, and so on. And these represent feathers, and they piggyback off of each other. And this is what I'm saying, you need to practice. And then this wood burning, the whole feature of the wood burning is to come in and with the burning pen, burn deep on the leading edge and lift as you come out. And then as you come out, you fan to the left and you fan to the right. And that gives you that texture. What it does, you're burning deep with the hottest part of the pen on that leading edge here, or the back edge of the feather in front of it, and that's your pencil line there. And what it does, it depresses this area. You're not really pressing real hard, but if you go in, strike in, and then lift as you come out, it will texture this out here, but it doesn't hardly look it. And if you do it right, and this gets darkened up in here, and that's what you do. And what it does, it actually looks like you lift it these feathers. So I just wanted to illustrate that to you, that was the achievement we were trying to get there on the head. It's just always start from that pencil line back of the C, and you're flaring out to the left and flaring out to the right. And that's how we do that. Now, in the mantle, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a version of that, but in a larger scale than what we did here. But we start out small, where the mantle came down, and this is like a wing line that comes up. We're going to put a C right there, and then we're going to put another one, piggybacking off of that. And then I'm going to get another one, and it gets a little bigger each time. Then this one gets to here. Then I'm going to come a little more. I hope you can see this. Back into here. And then I'll come a little bit more to here. And then I'll come in to one right here. And you can see they gradually get bigger as they come. Now, I'm going to fill in the areas with maybe this size to start, and then I'll switch down. So I'm going to come in here and just fill in an area with that size right there. Then I'll get another one, and this is a little larger than these. And then where the head feathers came down, I'm not going to go into them. I get a little bigger. And a little bigger. Let me clean this up. I'm going to get a nicer C here, right in there. And I'm going to come around here. I'll get a small one, medium size one. Then I'll get one right in here. Then this big one coming around, we'll piggyback off of that. Then I'm going to do the same thing. Before I go all the way over, I'm going to start on this side, and I'll start with the same size one. I got one right there, and then I'm going to get another one right here, but I'm going to build up a little bit here. Not doing too good with the C's today. Let's see if I could round that off a little bit more and make it fuller. There we go. Now, I'm going to worry about this line, which gets you a little bigger each time. Not too big. But it gradually gets bigger. Let me get that line out of there that I originally took a shot at. And I go a little bigger. A little bigger, and a little bigger. So I have stuff, you can see it graduates up as you go, and they sort of point this way. Now I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to fill that in with about the same size as over there. Then we'll get a little bigger. Then we try to fill in the areas without making it look like Ring Around the Rosie, where they're all da-da-da-da-da-da. It's sort of staggered. And then I'm going to get into this one. And what I could do is bring this one up to here. Then I'll get another one. I'm coming across here. Then I'll put one right in here. And this one piggybacks off of that one. And then I'll make this one a little fuller. And bring one around like that. Then I'll come in from here to here. Make one like that. And maybe I'll slip one right in here, which is a little smaller. They don't always have to be graduated. Then this will be my last feather, which fills that in right there. Okay, now you may have to practice this a little bit And you could take a look at how I have it on this view here. It doesn't give you the whole thing, but I'm going to try to spin this so you can see what I tried to achieve on this. And hopefully you can see it and how I did it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my, I'm going brain dead here, the flame tip. And I'm going to come in and start lifting these. I'm going to come in back here. Right here. I'm going to undercut just the back of the C. Coming around. And remember, we raised this. We have a slight rise and fall in here. So this side, we blended away. But this side, when you bring your feathers around, when you're undercutting the back side, they sort of come in off of that. And you're just lifting behind that, just a little bit. Not a lot. And it comes part of rounding it. Let me use a pencil here if you can't see it real well. Is that this whole thing has a little channel going all the way around. So each one of these looks like an individual feather. Right now, this line comes down and meets here. It has a valley back here, but what you want to do is make it whole and look like one complete feather. And again, I'm not going that deep. I'm really not going that deep at all. Now I'm going to go in for an interior one. And I'm using the tip just to excavate a little bit. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll go back with a pencil so you can see exactly, because I'm taking the pencil mark away. Now, especially these last ones on the bottom of the mantle, you definitely want to distinguish them as being a little more separated from each other. But, and then this one comes out here, and I bring it around. So that looks like one individual feather. At least that's what we're trying to achieve. And I'm going to come up with this little one. Just use the point. You sort of pivot it around a little bit. And you have to have your finger on here. You can't do it this way. You got to have something resting on here to stay in control, or you'll be going all over the place. I don't know if you can see that indent that I made. It's not deep at all, but it does outline the pencil point. And I'm not going deep. It's not like we're relieving the mantle. It's not even half, it's less than half of what I did with the mantle feathers. Now I'm coming around these just to get some lift, just a little bit of lift on the back end of the C. Well, it's actually the whole C, okay. And then this one. You gotta go steady and you gotta hold that point in there. Takes a little practice. I make things look easy because I've done this a million times. And for those who are doing it for the first time, it's a little tricky. So don't get discouraged. some people in my classes used to get it the first time out, and then other ones didn't. So that happens. But with practice, I noticed that most people get better. And you know, if you did anything, you know, in life, the more you practice, the better you get. Now, here's this one. This is this big one coming around, sweeping. There's another one right there. Come in and undercut this right on the back. And there's another little one right here. Hope you're seeing this all well. And if you're not, we'll try to enhance this in a minute. And you got this big one here. Bring this up. Right into here. We got this one right here. And then we got this one that just pokes out at the end here. Now, oops, and I forgot one. There's a little guy right in there. Okay, I don't know how much you can see it, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back in, and behind that valley that I created, that little, I'm just going to put my pencil marks right into it so you can see the feathers again. And there's a little valley in each one, but they're not really deep at all. If they're a 32nd, that's a lot. And you may want to practice a little bit on a piece of wood before you go on trying to do this, because you don't want to go too deep, okay? And I'm outlining this for a reason, and I'll show you that in a minute. This comes around, this goes like this. And this will make sure, if you do this yourself, that putting the pencil back in again will make sure that you did lift all the feathers that you were supposed to lift in the mantle area. A lot of times I would do this same wood burning technique down here, but in the case of the chickadee, I want to give it a little more character in the mantle, and we're going to lift these feathers just slightly here. We're still going to burn them, but I wanted to get a lift. And these here are as flat as can be, but they look like they've been lifted. So that's some of the tricks you get to do. I'm just showing you another style within this. Now there's all the feathers that I marked out. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do with the same ruby flame, or if you have the diamond bullet, that'll work just as well. I'm going to ask you to come in. I'm going to take one of the bigger ones, like this feather here. The front of this, I just want you to soften ever so slightly in front here to have this look like it's dipping down, okay? And I'm going to come in here. So I'm getting rid of what would be like one of the channel edges on this side. And I'm going to leave the other side alone. Okay? So I'm coming in here and I'm just softening the interior of the feathers. And I'm not worrying about the ones button up to the head feathers. This is all the ones that are piggybacking off of each other here. So, just trying to come in and lower the front end of my feather. and it's a light touch. You can't be heavy-handed with this. And this will take it down. And what it does, it depresses the front area here ever so slightly, but it gives it a rise and fall right at that point, and it makes it look individual. So I'm just trying to go in. And like I said, soften the front end of whatever feather I'm working on at that time, just the front edge. Now, on the outside ones here, I'm going to ask you to come around and soften just the back end, only on the end feathers of the mantle here. Just, again, as lightly as I can. I'm really not, it's more or less where the separation between the wing and the mantle here. I just want to make sure that you do the bottom edge like so, okay? Hope you can see that okay. Now that we've done that, now here we go. We're going back into doing the same technique that we did up front here. I'll pick a larger feather here so that you can see it. Now remember, these feathers are piggybacking off of each other, and the C's are going in this direction. And then as they come off of this edge, they're pointing upward towards like the beak. They're almost looking like they're aiming against the beak, except for this swing. The swing, all these C's are pointing this way in this mantle area. And then as we pivot towards the center, they almost go straight up, okay? So I'm going to come in and we'll take this feather right here. I'm going to outline it. I'm going to come in and start wood burning the inner edge, just like I was showing you here. I'm going to burn this inner edge and then flare out to the left and flare out to the right. I'm not going to do that for all of them. So here we go. Let me get this going. And by the way, this is my Optima 1 burning pen. This is a P12S, and I like this. There's a P5 is also pointed, and it allows you to do the same thing. So here's how we're going to go. I'm going to come up here where I had finished the wood burning from the head. I'm just going to use the one edge where I stopped, and I'm going to fan out from there. Then when I come into this, I'm going to fan out. This one. Okay. This one. You're always using the edge in front of you as the area you want it to press. Okay. There's another one right here. And remember, the C is pointing this way, so your first line shot is right down the middle, and then you can flare out to the left and flare out to the right. Okay. Then these sort of go this way, in this direction. So I'll just put It's not a quill, but I'm going to, this is just a line of burning. Now, I'm going to come back. I'm going to flare out to the left and flare out to the right. Okay. I'll come back up here. Like so. Okay. And this one would be like this. And if you don't get them close enough, you can always come back and sort of rake over them. And it takes a little practice, you know, and a steady hand. Remember, I got my finger on the piece. I'm not doing it like this. You can't do it haphazard. You got to have something resting on here that controls the depth of burn and the direction you want to do this. So remember that too. I'm trying to give you all the tips that I'm doing here, even though it may not be obvious to you. Now the first strike, I usually try to take the middle of the C and go back. And like I said, some of these are pointing this way, and then as we go towards the center, they go straight up and down. So, but you're always going to fan out from the center and take that tact. Here's like this one. This one is going this way, so I'm going to go this way a little bit more. That's my first strike. Then I go to the left. Then I go to the right. I don't know if you see that. I'm drifting again, and I apologize if you didn't see it. I'll do it on this one. This one's more going upward, straight towards the beak. I always try to make them almost look like they're trying to be aiming for the beak on the first strike anyway. Like right here. Like this is almost, looks like it wants to point towards the beak. That's sort of like my goal, although I can't say I'm as accurate all the time in doing that, but you'll catch that. Here's one I missed on the head, so I'll finish that one up. I think there was a couple of them here I didn't get from before. Okay, I think I got one more in here. Yeah, I didn't finish with the head. These are real small ones. They get tapered inward. Or tapered down, I should say. They get real small at the ends there. Now I go back to my standard, straight, and flare to the left, flare to the right. These are almost straight too. And if you don't keep them close together, come on back, just rake it through. You know, don't be afraid. Like if I miss a spot, I just keep raking through. And like I said, the center comes right down the middle on the C's, and then you flare to the left with a slight angle, and you flare to the right. And you can see how it starts formulating up. Now, I'll come over here. Get that one right in there. Hope I'm staying in camera range on these. There's another one. They almost look like they're aiming for the beak. It's almost a good general way of figuring out what's the center of your feather, even when you're drawing them. There's a little guy in here. And you don't want to burn right through the whole thing. If you notice, my back ends are lighter, only because I'm flicking it up. So I go in deep on the leading edge and lift. Especially with these little ones, you really want to, you can go long on them real easy because your whole stroke is your blade just about on your point, your burning pen tip. I wanted to just keep on doing this so you can see how the whole mantle gets developed on this one video. And then what I'll do on the next video, we will proceed on by putting more feathers in. But we're going to really be lifting them, and we're going to go out of our way to do that. And there's several techniques to do that too. And if you've done some birds with me from before, you may remember some of the techniques, and I'll try to show you a couple more. Okay, because my way of thinking is, I'm showing you my way of doing it, but if you have a friend that has taken classes or is teaching and he's very good at what he does, learn his techniques too, because then you can come up with your own, and that's how I developed a lot of my stuff. And you can do your individual bird yourself by stumbling through a technique that you like that shows the bird off better. So I'm just wetting your whistle in the sense of there's a lot of ways of, as if you want to say it, skinning the bird or burning the bird. But that's on any of the techniques that I'm doing here. I'm trying to, if you've never done it before, this will be all new to you, and that's great, but be aware that I'm one of many out there that do this and have their own style of doing it. And like on the next series, when I start doing these feathers down here, I burn backwards, and I have a purpose for that too. Like we're stroking this way, but when I start texturing these, I'm going to be burning this way in towards the head. So there's another reason for that too. So everybody has a different way of approaching it. So, and I can't say mine's the best. I will not say that at all. And let's put it this way: you can learn from everybody, and some of your best mistakes really come out neat. So there is the mantle all burnt. Okay, so that's what I'm going to have you try to achieve. If you got something out of this video, I'd ask you to give me a thumbs up. And if you would subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that greatly. That'll help me as well. And hope you enjoy what you see so far. So I'll see you on the next video. And this is where we're at right now. We got the head textured. We got the mantle textured. And now we're moving our way building the wings. Okay? See you on the next video.